Here is duck manure I scraped from the duck's run over here, and I harvested it, and I'm going to use it inside in the fabric pots in the grow rooms. I opened up doors, and I'm letting the rabbits all in the yard now because I got the perimeter completely sealed up where they won't get out, so they can come out here, eat all this grass, trim it down, have it for food. Also letting them into the garden in here. I covered up the garlic so they won't even nip at it. I've had one in here before I let all of them in, and it didn't eat the garlic. I don't think they like the garlic. They stay away from it. So that was a good sign. All these ones came in through the door here. I just opened, and here I opened this door too. And over here I put a door on this area here. The waterway runs through, and it's flooding nicely, and it makes for a nice feature to irrigate and move nutrients throughout the yard, all throughout into the beds. And here is a strawberry bed. It's pretty much picked clean because my rabbit was in here. That's okay. It's going to regrow thick. This is all blackberries. And I stripped the leaves off the canes to feed before they just drop dead to the ground and get mulched up. It's better to feed them at the end of the year is what I'm thinking here. Look at my babies in here. Those are New Zealand's. They're all opened. I opened up the New Zealand's and the silver fox. They're all running and playing together. There's a door open down here, this grow out rotation area, with that one also back there around the wood pile, two of them. And it's open there at the corner too, so the rabbits come in through all these. I can close them up and section them off again if I need to. Tighten it up, bring the rabbits back under control. I can close all the doors I made. Winterizing everybody as far as getting them warm and bedded down. The ducks in here. There's a piece of wood dividing this to give it a windbreak, and I threw a bunch of hay down. Straw is what I would have used if I had some right now, but all I have is hay. Hay works, and that's their food bowl there. A light hanging under there for the cold. It's not real cold right now, but it was. And they have a pond filling up top because this was their pool, but now it is a bedded area for them for the winter, for this group of Muscovies. Their pool in here, it's a cut out pool. I cut the pool out of the dirt there and filled it up with the hose, gave it a channel to fall into. It's not on now, but once I turn it on, it'll start filling this channel and fall into the waterway. They're doing the job for me here, cleaning up. Chickens can hang out in here for a little bit. Let them enjoy this. They're finding their way in, sneaking in. See, look. Bringing things in. Strawberries I'm going to pull. Make more potting soil for this winter's growing. There's so much going on. I built a light in there to shine at the plants, not just from up top, but from the side. Here with the table with the chicken feed, boom. Chickens eat, rabbits don't get it. Dude, bro, I'm gonna kick your ass. Come here. Garden salad for the ducks. Lentils, French lentils. See, ducks, I just learned they need niacin more than a chicken because they grow at a rapid pace, and that's something you can supplement, or it's in their duck feed if you buy specific duck feed. Lentils, legumes, peas have it, and you cannot feed it to them dry. It has to be soaked or cooked because of lectins. Lectins in it will make the animals sick, and it gets out of there when they soak or get cooked. Soak for 24 hours. Took greens from the garden, put it all in here, and that's going to go to them. So they're going to get this regularly as a treat. I have a bunch of this stored up. Lentils, split peas, cook them down or soak them down. This is my boy, my rooster. He does get to come outside. He usually stays inside because he's loud and the neighbors. I let him outside, hoping that he doesn't get loud so that he can have fun with the girls. You can't keep him cooped in. He stands there at the sliding door and stares out the window. He just poops there in one little spot there and just wants out. I gotta let him out. Right, mister? That's my boy. He hangs out in there with me. We eat together. Whoa, what is this? There's a whole mix in here. This is a jungle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rabbits in here right now. One naughty chicken came in through the door, through this door. Isa Brown and Sex Link. Mr. Boy, Mr. Boy, Mr. Boy, joy, joy, joy. Oh, in here, when the rabbit's manure gets on the ground in here, I rake it into the waterway. You see now that the water's drained out a bit, you see the manure chunks in there and what looks like sediment washing from upstream. Upstream. Love it. Some wild birds come on in and help themselves. Here with the compost tea, this is a collection of all things green, and they go in here and stir up and make this concoction of biodiverse life forms that will then go back into the garden whenever I want to dip in there and grab some of that out of there. Spin it around, stir it, churn it up a little bit. Find a good way to dip in there. I'm thinking a bucket with holes on the bottom of it, and that way I can dip it in and then real quick pull it and let it drip into another big bucket, and that'll get out all the thick stuff. Welcome home, buddy. Welcome home. Muscovies. Hello. Good morning. Their water's up here now. It's a natural cut little pond, and it runs through the stream down to the waterway. I'm coming in there next, guys. Set these up next for the next big snowstorm and the cold rolls back in, and have all the heat set for everybody for underneath their laying areas and also underneath the watering cans. Keep those warm. Companion planting all these pots with kales, broccolis, and cabbages, and then I'm remulching with rabbit and duck manure, pruning everything up real good. I got this new light fixture that shines light at the sides, so it's not just from above but from the sides, doing amazing work at providing much more light. It's over there and it's off now. It is real bright shining in from the side, so it's not good for the camera to get a good view when I'm recording and it's on. It's like a big old bulb. Pulling an entire harvest as I prune. You see the peppers? There's peppers. Here's some celery there.
Yeah, I'm in southern Missouri right now, right next to the border. Arkansas, maybe a mile or two away. And I don't know where I'm at now. West. No, I don't want to go west.
Long story short, we got rid of all of them except one, and we called him Big Ben, and he was the quintessential cornflakes rooster. Just incredible, healthy, big, dominant, but a real gentleman, an honorable, dominant alpha. Really, really good rooster. And but he bit the biscuit, he chewed on some gravel and died. So he's no longer on the picture. But and so ever since he died, I like a good rooster. Shitty roosters suck. Most roosters suck. They're terrible. When we had all those roosters and these hens and they still weren't laying yet, or laying much, I should say, they're transitioning. It was just rape and torment. It was brutal on him and just hammered him. And basically, he spent the next couple days kind of adapting, but kind of in the corner. And just then he realized, okay, this is gravy. If I just play it cool, this is going to work out really well for me. And so that's essentially how it's gone. So we've had him for about a week. We had him for 3 days before I brought in his brother. And so anyways, so Bob is stoked. He's like, once he warmed up to the scenario, it's like, yeah, these birds are a little more experienced than me, and they're not going to put up my shit. But if I just play it cool and just do my roost, do my thing, I mean, life looks pretty sweet. And so that's kind of where it was. Then I brought in his brother because I thought, okay, I want to just add some more genetics. I don't mind. I like to see the social dynamics. And you know what? If he sucks, he can just go to rooster land. I just take him outside of the fence, and he can go try his luck in the water. Oh, look at this. This is great. See, look at that. They don't take his shit. This is funny. So basically, at this point, Bob is totally cocked. He's crowing at 3:30, 4 a.m. every day. He crows multiple times in the day. I mean, the eggs I collected 10 eggs today, and this is Bruce's second night here.
Watering can heater. It's going to go out and heat up one of the watering cans. I have here are a bunch of my heat mats, Sunbeam type. They got the 3 settings on them for low, medium, high. They're really safe. I've used them for years. I just cleaned these ones up a bit, and I'm going to test them for a couple days and check the heat and make sure they're safe. I looked them over when I was washing them off and checked them for damage, make sure they're good to go. I also have smoke alarms. These here, I have 2 of them here. I got another one around here I'm going to find. I'm going to put one in the garage, one in the under the deck coupe, and one in the tractor that is going to have electricity running to it for the heat mats and for the heat lamps. So I have 2 heat lamps I'm going to be hooking up for the ducks. And the chickens and the rabbits should be fine without, the rabbits for sure should be fine without heat for the winter. The chickens, I could give them heat. I may, depending on how cold it gets. So I'm going to have extra bulbs, couple extra, and I got to get another heat lamp. These ones here that have the ceramic back on them are the ones you want for the heat of the heat lamp. These pieces are for the rabbit guillotine. I'm going to reconstruct it. There's a couple more pieces right back there. And then the slide that has the blade on it. It's a weight with a blade customized on it that slides through the channel. And I gotta customize and rebuild that better this winter. I'm gonna do that in here. And the duck guillotine is good to go. I'll work on the mechanism more in the spring. It's good to hold the duck for the harvest so I can go and do other tasks. It holds the spasms, needs to be held steady so it doesn't fly all over the place. How bright this new fixture is. It's too much for the camera. I'm going to have to shut it off when I come in here to walk through what I'm doing, which I want to do that now. I have this divider. This is a whiteboard, dry erase whiteboard. It divides and stops the rabbits from getting in here. They actually got in last night after I went in here and put a bunch of things in to companion plant and get things going for this winter. They ate some of it. Cabbages and the broccolis they ate a bit of, and they left me most of all my kale and my corns experiments. So they didn't eat much, but they ate some, and a little bit of the celeries that I brought in. These here. Let me turn this off for a sec. So you see here is celery I brought in from outdoors. These are kales I companion planted right along with. This is one of the cabbages sitting in here with the lemon tree. And then down here is the corns, the glass gem, 2nd gen aeration that I harvested from my own seed this year to do an indoor experiment. See how well they grow indoors under grow light. And then that's a lemon tree, a broccoli, cabbage that they left me, and more kales all up and around the avocado tree now. There's another avocado tree. You know, most of the bigger leaves died off, but the avocado tree sends up new shoots. So I'm wondering what that's about, if that's my lighting, nutrition, what's going on, if it's getting too dry. I don't think that's happening because I'm watering a lot, as much as really need be. And this is the pepper habanero, my 2nd tree that I pruned a lot of so I could open it up for the cabbages that my bunnies ate the other night. This one was the broccoli. I put beets here, and that's awesome. They're going to sprout up. There's also salsify. I haven't grown yet, so that's new. I want to be always growing new things to see what's new. This is celery from outside. More companion planting along with the peppers. I trimmed and pruned up these pepper plants, pepper trees, and staked them up pretty so that they have opened up for the kales underneath, and also have much light, much more light now with this fixture. You see this? Simple enough. Offset this board here so that I can walk through when this is full. It's not right in the middle, so I can still get by. Pretty nice. And then over here you see this is hot peppers. Red habanero hot peppers, a bunch of them ripening in again here, and they're just growing in so much, so abundant on this tree here. And underneath it is also kales, and I pruned up and kept it up, and I'll shake it when I go to prune it up periodically, and it'll shake a lot of dead things that were on it off, and that's really good for it, feels like. This one here is another hot pepper I brought in from outside. Let me see if I can find. Yep, there's one right there. It's a little one, other one right here. Don't have the tag. These aloe veras are becoming monsters and overrunning their 5-gallon pot there. That one too. I got to up pot the same way I up potted this pepper, this lemon tree, that avocado tree. They're in much bigger pots. I believe I have another pot about that size there. That's like a 20-gallon. And that will take one of these. And the other one, I can find another pot, I'm sure, bigger than this 5-gallon at least. I have 7 gallons too, so I can up pot them. They need it now. You see how big they're getting. I use this stuff regularly, like a lotion, and as an healing aid. I use it on my skin when it's cracked. I use it when I get a wound, things like that. I even have thoughts to make a powder, aloe vera powder. I just haven't gotten to that stage yet. It's still in plans. I lowered the lights a little bit. Got them down close as I can, just without touching the top of that tomato cage. And the same with that one. Over here, I'm about to cut the floor out of this hardware cloth in this hutch and drop this tub in, and it will sit flush with the hardware cloth there. And then the ducks will be able to go in there. I'll be able to fill it. Perhaps I'll support it from underneath, the weight of it, as it's full of water, and that will give the ducks a splash spot. I'm going to raise the height of the walls here, and they'll be able to hop out, come on out, and I'm going to build an enclosed nesting area in here with this square section over here. And I'll be able to access from here, right at the front, to get the eggs. And then these tarps, the manure capture will be set up with the tarps and bins underneath to let the manure roll into, and I can even wash it clean. Over here next door to the duck enclosure, this is grow out section for roosters that I built. I've got a plan to put down hardware cloth, and then underneath it I'm going to have tubs to collect the manure instead of the straw bedding indoors because of the dust factor, and that's more of like an outdoor thing. Bedding materials, if I can use a hardware cloth and make it so it's cleaner, completely clean, where the animals won't kick it up because it'll be underneath already through the hardware cloth. It's time to use hardware cloth and capture quick as it's dropped. These potatoes here. Look at this. Look at these flowers already forming. I'm going to move those two from the back corner there, rotate them. Can't wait to see the yield. This here, this is the trellises I had on the wall in the living room, grow room, working really well for many things. It's this green chicken wire like. It's about 3 feet, and then there's bamboo sticks running through, and it's keeping the rabbits out. I put this lid here as kind of a divide because the rabbit was pushing in on this fence here and eating at the potato, and I don't want to have that. I'm going to put another one there on that section right there, and then I can get in from over there. All I got to do is slide this. I can slide this around, and it allows for me to get in easily and then also to keep the rabbits out. Made this eggshell feeder for the chickens down in the downstairs grow tent, and they're going to have their calcium now with the crushed eggshells. And this is a chick feed tray hooked up to a couple pieces of wood there, maybe 10 inches up off the ground, and it gives them just enough room to get up there, get what they need for their egg strength. You see, this is a box here at the end, and it's going to have the eggs in it. I built these locks that spin and open, one here, one down here. Slides this open, and there's a crate attached to this board with nesting material in it for the duck to get into. I cut the hole in the side of this hardware cloth, built the frame with wood, put a door in it over there, wrapped the tarp around, stapled it simply. This closes up, makes for a nice enclosure, and I'm now putting a board up to finish the wall here around the top, and I'm going to make a lid, real simple, using wood. Fill that tub with water, put a feed dish in here. What I want to do with all the indoor operations with the animals and the food is have cleaner systems than I would have outside, because outside you're exposed to the elements, so there could be toxins all up in the rain, in the air, also in the water, the hose water that runs through the garden, through the waterways, into the ducks' water out there. I want to get away from any toxins using filtered water and clean air within the house here. It's like a biodome, Pauly Shore, and it is really clean, fresh air being filtered by the plants all around me, keeping it even warm in here, warmer than it would be without them as thermal mass in the winter. The heat that the dirt holds and the lights that keep that warmth. I'm calling it my duck hutch. It doesn't just have to be for ducks. It could be for chickens, it could be for rabbits.
Control is happening. So many of these beings that we saw back in those times were actually brought here. Actually, when you get down to many species, again.
Look at the top I built with these spindles from my recycled wood. Most all of this is recycled wood from my neighbor's deck. Potatoes are growing great next door, sectioned off, keep the rabbits off. Now I'm going to move ducks in. Pool, great, water is filtered clean. I got to put a feed dish in here. Their nesting area here. It's closed and locked. I built these locks that spin. See that? That keeps it secure and in place. And it slides out for me to access eggs. I'm thinking perhaps I might build another one right next door to it here to have two of them in here and keep the door like the same way, another piece of wood sitting right here. They'll be able to access, come into this first chamber, access, come into the second chamber, and that'll provide two spots to lay eggs so it's not so crowded. The third Muscovy hen from the original 3 that I got, and there's one more out there that's one of their babies from their first clutch of 3, and it's almost mature now. That hen will likely come in too. That'll make for 4 hens in this indoor duck hutch. And through the winter, I'm going to put another box on, so there'll be 2 boxes. My hopes is get egg production pumping through the winter. Heat mats. Getting ready to test them all out, make sure that they're all safe to use. For the next video, I'm going to get out there and winterize. I'm going to be putting smoke alarms, the loud ones, so if something does happen, freak accident, I'm trying to avoid any incident, of course. It will notify me and let me know. I'm always here, so I'll hear it if something's going on. Exciting times here in the Matrix. I'm trying to break the Matrix. You see the bins underneath, and then the food tray, and then their water, and then the 3 hens that I have in here. I'm going to bring another one in soon, build another box here. That is a splash guard there for the electrical. Everything should be good to clean if I need to, and run down, collect into the tubs. I got to go ahead and make a cut here and remove this board and be able to slide a tub underneath to capture here. And that is a board I put in because I had to attach a piece of tarp there to connect this because that one wasn't long enough, so that's what that was for, to secure it. Set up and housed, ready to go. Get some eggs in my box soon. We'll see how that goes, how long that takes, if and how they end up transitioning back into laying eggs soon. I'd love to see them transition back into laying eggs soon. That's the main goal here. And in having them indoors, the security, the redundancy, just in case some commies try to tell me I can't have animals at a rental. Well, you ain't coming in, guys. Okay, now I've got this wall mount fan. I'm going to hook up onto a board, and then I'm going to fasten that board to the wall in here. Right there where the trim board is, behind the plastic, I'll screw it right into that, and that will be a nice fan to be able to adjust accordingly however I want to move the air around in here. Kale's all in the pots, growing nicely. I'm going to pick some little bit and give it to my rabbits that I have in here. That's the whole plan with the greens and the kales in the grow rooms for the winter. I'll be able to at least feed a full belly to the 2 rabbits I have in here, or perhaps I can do an every other day harvest and disperse it all evenly among everybody. Give everybody a little bit of that living nutrition through the winter. Kale's underneath. Red Russian kale, indoors right now. Salsify, getting ready to sprout up soon. And then the beets. So that'll be more greens. The rabbits that did some damage when they got in here one night, I forgot to close the door. That shouldn't happen again. They ate my cabbage and broccolis. So this was the cabbage. They left the centers like they do, and this should still grow, and so should this. It'll give me something. If not a head, it'll give me greens. So I'm definitely leaving it to grow still. Also, they chewed down one of my celeries here. Left me one. That's great. So I'll watch and see how this comes back, if it does. They left the lemon tree alone. That's really nice of them. They were there for about 20 minutes before I realized that avocado tree is not looking good at all. Pokey thorns on the lemon tree, and down here it's filling in much nicer now that I have this light fixture, and it's off right now. So I'm going to turn it off when I'm doing things with the camera in here. It's too bright. Their feed bowl I secured with zip ties, one there, and that's not going anywhere. This roof, it's not attached with a hinge in any way. It's floating, and I can set it up simply like that there and work in here. These here, construction screws, I've used this whole box pretty much. Just a few left. This one I still have a lot. These are the smaller size. See, 2 1/2 for the large ones, and then 1 1/4 for the smaller. They have the T25 star head. Holds best in the drill, allows you to reuse them over and over and over again. When I leave here and take everything, I'm going to take all the screws out of everything I need to, and I'll be able to use them again. They won't be stripped out like a Phillips screw. Heat lamps with the ceramic back. That is safe for the hot bulbs that Here are the red light bulbs. These are 5,000 hour Hong Kong, China slave, Hong Kong slave made, Chinese slave made, it looks like. That's never good, but that's probably gonna work fine, and keep an eye on that stuff. What do you do if you have no electricity when we get EMP'd or solar flared? Bring the animals indoors, like this. Bed them down really good if you want to keep them outside during extreme cold climates. Hope that they'll survive. Rabbits will survive extremely low temperatures. But don't be a dummy. If you end up in that circumstance, you're going to want your animals close. That's what I figure. I like them close now. I want everything like Willy Wonka, his chocolate factory. I'll be like Ace Ventura. I don't know. And you walk outside and everything is edible. Like Candyland. Inside and out, back to nature. Things growing on everything, everywhere. Things growing on everything, everywhere. Is that light too much? I probably gotta shut that shit off, right? Like I've been saying. I gotta hook up a switch for it that I could put like right here. Soaking bulk things like these peas for 24 hours. The rice, though it's not necessary with the rice, I am doing it still. The flaxseed I'm not. And then the lentils I am also soaking for 24 hours and then mixing them. That allows me to have tighter control over exactly which nutrients get to each animal. The flaxseed is really good to add fatty acids in the egg yolks. This rice, this is some rice I had stored up. Definitely make the feed stretch and start cycling through my preps. Because that's what all this is. It's just dry foods that I had prepped up in the mylar. The peas and the lentils add the niacin for the ducks that they need more so than the chickens. And the chickens can have more of the flaxseed for the fatty acids in the egg yolks. The rice can go to both evenly is what I'm thinking. Look at this. You believe this? Is that one chunky ass mama or what? Designing everything with the idea in mind that I'm not going to be staying here because this is a rental and I'm never going to own it. It's unsustainable. $1,100 a month versus a fraction of that where I would have a mortgage to pay instead and own the land and have land and opportunity to expand on my creativity in ways that I just can't do here. This is and was a great place to learn, to start, to get a feel for everything, and everything I've learned so far, I feel like I'm almost there. I'm almost considering myself a master gardener. Maybe I am, I don't know, whatever, who cares? It's not the point. The point is, grow all your own food to survive. That's the sustainable way, the healthy way. And you can expand on that and grow abundance and become wealthy in many ways, not just fiat. Between the grow tent chicken coop downstairs, the rabbit hutches I've built, this new duck hutch, which this duck hutch could fit, if I needed to, in a grid down extreme scenario, bring the animals inside, 10, 15 ducks crammed in there. It wouldn't be comfortable, but it's doable. Same with the chickens downstairs in the grow tent. I could double the capacity that's in there now. Rabbits in the colony hutch I built, a lot like this one here that I still have to finish. And then I have hutches. And all of these systems are built where you could have this in an apartment if you really wanted to. Who's stopping you? Just shh, don't tell anybody about it. People can get weird thinking you're weird. We're all weird. They came and discovered their nesting area. I can tell because the material is pressed like she was laying in there. Look at the top. I think that's so cool. The way I designed the opening so I can see. Using as little resources, as little new materials that I would have to buy as possible. I'm using recycled materials every which way I can get it. These spindles were from a railing that I cut out and used here as the top for this lid. You can find recycled materials everywhere. Ask your neighbors, look on Craigslist for free, look on Facebook for free.
In a metro station in Kyiv during the massive air raid yesterday.